What's going on, y'all? Dante562. I want to talk about this Bradley Pacquiao fight. It's building controversy, surrounding the fight. You know, um, I want to start by saying I watched the fight at home. I had a big fight party. For those of you who don't know or haven't seen, watched any of my videos before, my kids, they box at a gym where, the coach, he is Filipino, you know, obviously a big Pacquiao fan. Whenever we have fight parties, he brings his whole family over, to my house. And we had about 75 people, 75 Pacquiao fans in the crowd. Probably was about 3 or 4, Bradley fans in the whole house, right? So anyway, I'm saying this because obviously, as we're watching the fight, every single time Pacquiao even throws a punch, the crowd is going crazy in my house, right? You know, so and not only that, but with the commotion and everything, I'm running back and forth, throughout the house. I never really got to watch the fight completely, you know, but with all the screaming and all the hollering in the house, I will tell you this, when I first watched the fight, I thought that Pacquiao, he won the fight pretty much 9 rounds to 3, you know. And I was saying, yeah, I was telling everybody, yeah, Pacquiao, he won that one. I'm telling everybody at home, right? Now, of course, me, the boxing fan I am, I like to watch fights over and over. So, of course, what I love to do is I love to wait till everybody leaves, right? I wait till everybody leaves, and I watch the fight again, right? I watch the fight again, and now I'm starting to analyze every round, from the beginning to the end. And see, this is how I feel you have to judge a fight. You know, you have what I call decisive rounds. Decisive rounds, that means you won the round, no doubt, unquestionably, right? You won that round, right? No denying it. And then you have the pick'em type rounds. You feel me? The pick'em type rounds, the draw rounds, however you want to, put it. And basically what I did is I watched the fight, watched it a couple times, and I tried to, decipher or choose which rounds Bradley decisively won and which rounds Pacquiao decisively won. You know what I mean? And how many pick'em rounds there were. How many rounds were there that could have went either way? You feel me? So before I give you guys my scorecard, my little breakdown, I want to actually give you guys, what I'm saying, the scorecard, or I should say part of the scorecard of the people, the media, the commentators, what I'm saying, Freddie Roach himself. I want to give you guys, a little bit of an insight of how many rounds they thought that Bradley won in the fight. You know what I'm saying? So since pictures and videos say 1,000 words, basically what I did is I put together a couple clips of the fight, where there were occasions in different rounds where different commentators, from Emmanuel Stewart to Jim Lampley and Max Kellerman, they were suggesting that Bradley won, these rounds in particular, right? And I also have a clip of Freddie Roach at the post-fight press conference where he's suggesting that Bradley won rounds 11 and 12. Now, keep in mind, it's obvious that all of these people who I'm talking about, after the fight, they all agreed that they thought that Pacquiao won the fight. But that's irrelevant from what I'm going to show you guys after I show you these clips. So go ahead and check out these clips, and I'll break it down for the case that I'm making afterwards.
Pacquiao, of course, not only has the hand speed, but devastating punching power that can equalize just about anything Bradley can do at any moment.
And he still, to me, is amazing. I have so much respect for him. He's really carried this sport to me for the last 8 years. He's been the dominant fighter that kept boxing in the headlines and never has dodged anyone. Has never even taken a retirement, a break off. Has fought everyone from 22 to 54.
And he's losing this round, the first of the fight.
It's something of which he does more and more.
Bradley having a pretty good round this round so far.
Bradley landing more punches in this round. Well, this is a round in which Pacquiao hasn't done much with 30 seconds to go, and Bradley landed a couple of good shots.
So far, Bradley's won this round, but he hasn't been able to do any damage. He did enough to win the round, Pollard, but not really hurt.
All right, we let that round go. We need enough punches, okay? There's more punches.
The 10th round was statistically equal according to CompuBox. They landed the same number of punches. They landed the same number of power shots. Personally, I think Bradley got in a couple of punches that were better, and Harold Letterman agrees with us. Freddie Roach agrees.
Meanwhile, Bradley's still throwing punches like he means it.
And winning this round at this point, in my opinion.
I told him he gave the 11th round away. I told him pick it up a little bit in the 12th. I said, let's go for a knockout, and he did pick it up, but Bradley was very tough and very durable, and so be it. But I thought we clearly won the fight.
So let me go ahead and give you guys a summary of what I just showed you. Basically, I showed you guys rounds 1, 6, 7, 10, 11, and 12. In every single one of these rounds, you heard one of HBO commentators say they pretty much thought that Bradley won those rounds, with the exception of when Jim Lampley, instead of him saying he thought he won the round, Jim Lampley said in round 7 that Bradley landed more punches. You know what I mean? That could go either way. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? And then you see the press conference where Freddie Roach is saying he thought Bradley won rounds 11, and then he says that he told Pacquiao to pick it up in round 12, but Pacquiao didn't. You know, as far as I'm concerned, I interpret that as he gave Bradley round 12 as well, which coincidentally all 3 of the judges gave Bradley round 12 as well. And of course, you've seen the clip of Roach in the corner with Manny Pacquiao when he told Manny after round 10 that you clearly lost that round. You know, and as biased as HBO is, especially Harold Letterman, only giving Bradley 1 round, he gave him round 10. So if you guys add all those rounds up, that's 6 rounds right there that you could easily say that Bradley won. You know what I mean? And then, like I said, then you have to, these are just rounds that they actually brought up. You know what I mean? If these are the rounds that they brought up, so there could obviously be other rounds that they thought that Bradley had won. Now, like I said, obviously I'm not saying that any of these commentators had thought that Bradley won the fight. The point that I'm making is if you have 3 commentators, you know what I mean? And all together you get 6 rounds where one of the 3 are saying that they believe that Bradley won the round. You know what I'm saying? That alone makes the fight a lot closer than people are suggesting. So I guess the next question is, how can it be possible that the same people who are jumping up and down saying this is outrageous that, you know, Bradley won this fight, when you put all of the commentators together, they're actually almost in sync with the judges. You know what I'm saying? So let me go ahead and give you guys a little bit of a scoring summary of the official judges on how they were calling the fight, you know, leading up to the end of the fight. Okay, so all 3 judges had Pacquiao ahead 39-37 after 4 rounds. All 3 judges actually scored 3 of the last 4 rounds for Bradley. Okay, so there were 3 rounds that Bradley got a clean sweep in the fight, which basically means all 3 judges, they had Bradley winning that round. And the same thing for Manny Pacquiao. There were 3 rounds in the entire fight that all 3 judges had Manny Pacquiao winning, right? Now for Bradley, where he gets a clean sweep, where all the judges agree that he won the round, was rounds 12, rounds 10, and round 7. Now for Manny Pacquiao, they gave him a clean sweep on rounds 3, rounds 4, and here I'm looking at it right now, it's round 6. Okay? So now let me go ahead and give you guys pretty much a part of my scorecard. You remember, like I was telling you guys earlier, I look at the decisive rounds and I look at the pick'em rounds, the rounds that could have went either way, right? So me personally, I strongly believe that Tim Bradley, he decisively won rounds 1, 2, 9, 10, 11, and 12. You know what I mean? Those are 6 rounds that I think that Bradley completely won. You know what I mean? Now, when it comes to Manny Pacquiao, I think that Manny Pacquiao's decisive rounds were 4, 5, and 6. You know what I'm saying? So the rest of the fight, I feel those other rounds, they could have went either way, which basically means if you think Pacquiao won the round, I wouldn't have a problem with you. You know what I mean? If you think that Bradley won the round, I wouldn't have a problem with it. It wouldn't be something we would have to argue about because they were close rounds. You feel me? But the thing is, like I said, I got 6 decisive rounds for Bradley, only 3 for Manny Pacquiao. When I showed you the clips of Max Kellerman, Jim, and Emmanuel talking about the fight, they pretty much, on different rounds, agreed in total that Bradley pretty much won 6, or even being generous, you could say 5 rounds, right? So saying that, I believe that Tim Bradley, he won this fight. It obviously wasn't a shutout, but I just feel like when you listening to Jim Lampley and who just he's extremely biased. You know what I'm saying? When you're listening to somebody like Jim, and then even with Emmanuel and Max, it seems to me like they're almost afraid to disagree with Jim because Jim, he takes it so personal when you say something bad about Manny Pacquiao, which you guys are going to see my part 2 video. If you guys seen the little video I did on HBO being biased, I'm going to have a lot of clips from this actual fight right here as well. And anyway, that's a whole nother story. So yeah, so I basically have Tim Bradley winning this fight. I think it's some bullshit. The double standard. How when Marquez, he lost 3 fights to Manny Pacquiao, and all 3 of them could have went the other way. Some of them, a lot of us believe it was undeniably a victory for Marquez, but you didn't get this type of outcry. I mean, don't get me wrong, you did have a lot of people who were saying Marquez won that fight. Of course, I'm talking to some of my Filipino friends, and, of course, they outraged. They telling me, man, this is some bullshit. Man, Bradley didn't do nothing, man. Bradley got hurt in the fight, and, Bradley was talking about how he was going to hurt Pacquiao so much, and he didn't even do it. I'm like, man, what are you talking about? Pacquiao, he does the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Pacquiao and Freddie Roach, they were talking about how they were going to destroy Marquez. They were going to knock him out in like 3 or 4 rounds. You know what I'm saying? They've always done that. It's the exact same thing. They're telling me, how can Bradley win when he never hurt Pacquiao? I'm explaining to them, you don't have to hurt somebody to win a round. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with that when it comes to winning a round. I told everybody, man, I said, look, man, go back home, turn the damn volume off, put it on mute, and watch the fight again. I can guarantee you're going to see a totally different fight. Because like I said, when I first watched the fight, I was completely influenced by about 75 Filipinos screaming every time, Manny Pacquiao even threw a punch, So that's obviously going to, influence your way of thinking when you're watching the fight. So I encourage everybody, man. Everybody, go back, man. Watch the fight without any distractions. Turn the volume off because HBO commentators are some serious ass distractions. You feel me? I also remember right after the fight how even including Jim Lampley and everybody at the house, they kept saying, "Look how happy Tim Bradley is. Look how happy he is. Look at his wife. Look how much he's hugging, on the manager Cameron Duncan. Look how happy they are." What the fuck is so unusual with being happy for winning the fucking biggest fight in your life? You know what I'm saying? Fucking Bradley was a waiter 5 years ago at a restaurant. Today, he just won a pound for pound the best fighters in the world and got paid $5 million for it. And now they're going to probably get $10 million in a rematch. So what the hell is it so surprising for that this man is extremely happy? Ridiculous, man. Just ridiculous. So, this situation, it reminds me a lot of Mosley versus De La Hoya too. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, the feeling that I get is everyone wanted De La Hoya to win that fight. You know what I mean? Because that's the person. But De La Hoya was the one that we knew. He was the star. You know what I'm saying? He was the savior of boxing at the time. So everybody wanted him to win that fight. And when he didn't get it, it turned out to be this big outcry, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Matter of fact, I'm gonna show you guys this clip right here with Max Kellerman. He actually brings up the Oscar De La Hoya versus Mosley 2 fight, and he brings up some other good points. So let me go ahead and stop talking for a minute, and I want you guys to listen to this clip right here.
The guy who's going to get the benefit of the doubt and win the decision, and top rank, the most powerful promotional entity. Pacquiao means the most money to them. This sort of dispels that line of thinking. I can think of fights like Stevie Johnston and Cesar Bazan, for instance, where the rematch, where people sitting on one side of the ring thought Stevie Johnston shut him out. On the other side of the ring, thought Bazan won a close decision. I do notice polling people ringside, some of whose opinions I trust, that those sitting by Bradley's corner seem to think he won. Some credible people think Bradley won. And I also remember the Mosley-De La Hoya rematch, where you guys, I didn't call that fight, it was you guys with Larry Merchant, and you guys had De La Hoya winning by a substantial margin. I was sitting ringside in press row. I thought Mosley won. So I'd like to, as Tim said, go back and look at the tape and maybe view it again with the sound off, so maybe we're not influencing what I'm thinking.
Well said, Max. Absolutely well said. I could not have said it better. You know what I'm saying? And me and Max, I don't always agree with Max, but I believe Max is way better than Jim and Larry when it comes to calling fights. But anyway, I think back when I threw my fight party for Cotto versus Mayweather. Same scenario. I was over here with a whole bunch of Mayweather haters. And I remember at the end of the fight, when they announced the winner, everybody who was hating on Mayweather, they thought when they announced the winner that, because they said new champion, they thought that, they were announcing Cotto as the winner, right? So all of a sudden they start jumping up, celebrating and all that kind of stuff like that, right? And I turn around and I say, "What the hell y'all doing?" And they're like, oh, and I just bust out laughing, What's so funny is they were willing, these are the same Pacquiao fans, by the way, that I'm talking about right now. They were willing to celebrate when they knew that Mayweather completely won the fight, right? But all of a sudden, now, obviously, the shoe is on the other foot. You know what I'm saying? The shoe is on the other foot, and now they're in that same situation, but they on the other side of the field. You feel me? Now, they pretty much were sure that Pacquiao had to fight, and it turned out that Bradley had to fight. You feel me? I sprained my ankle like last week, and I've been limping I've been limping around the house ever since. You know, so but the reason why I say that is because you got to give Bradley a whole lot of credit, man. When you in the ring with somebody who punches the way that Pacquiao does with that left hand, and when you look at the fight, you can clearly see that Bradley was doing very good in rounds 1, 2, and 3, and even 4. And then 4 is the round where Bradley he sprained or fractured his ankle, and you could see a total different Bradley after he sprained his ankle. He didn't seem the same. After that. But after a couple rounds went on, around 8, that's when all of a sudden Bradley started picking it up. Next thing you know, Bradley is boxing. You know what I'm saying? He's out jabbing. He's out maneuvering. You know what I'm saying? He's showing ring generalship in there with Manny Pacquiao. And for the first time, Manny Pacquiao looks almost like Oscar De La Hoya back in the day when he used to look so good in the first couple rounds, and then all of a sudden he would gas out and just be following you around, not throwing punches, looking frustrated. That's how Bradley was making Pacquiao look. And what's so crazy about it is Pacquiao is known for his tremendous stamina, and I don't know if it was a stamina issue or if it was just, Pacquiao got frustrated because, after Pacquiao landed a couple of those left hands in the earlier rounds, he couldn't really land them anymore because you've seen Bradley, man, he was moving his head like he was dancing in there. You know what I'm saying? And I think that probably frustrated Pacquiao a little bit, and he kind of gave up on throwing the left hand. I truly believe that. But nevertheless, like I said, I think Bradley won the fight. I think he did a terrific job. I think Pacquiao did show that he's not washed up like people were trying to say he was because he fought against Marquez. I always said that was some BS. Because how you gonna say Pacquiao is washed up because he doesn't look the same way he looked every time he fought Marquez? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. He looked. If that's the case, you might as well say Pacquiao was washed up after the first time he fought Marquez. It doesn't make any sense. But I truly think that Pacquiao is gonna have a hell of an uphill battle in a rematch. If he fights Bradley again, once again, it seems like if you guys watch my prediction, I said that I believe that if Pacquiao can't, knock out Bradley with one single shot, Bradley is going to win the fight. I will say that I thought the fight would be more of a larger, landslide for Bradley, but still, I'm actually going with that theory in a rematch too. I feel that if Manny Pacquiao, if he can't hurt, you know, Bradley with one single shot, knock him out, knock him down a couple times, Bradley is going to win that fight. Bradley can adjust. I mean, this man, look at the adversity that Bradley had to go through in this fight. You know what I'm saying? He twisted his ankle. He got a man coming at him, with tremendous speed, tremendous power. You know what I'm saying? And Bradley never gave up. You know what I'm saying? He never gave up. Freddie Roach was saying in the press conference that Manny Pacquiao was talking about as soon as I hit him, Manny Pacquiao said, as soon as I hit him, he's going to, he's going to start running basically. He's going to be scared, but you didn't see that with Bradley. You know what I'm saying? Bradley was willing to go out on his shield. You feel me? Bradley, he got stunned a couple times, but instead of him just holding for the whole fight or running for the whole fight, Bradley was right there going toe to toe with him. You know what I'm saying? Go back and watch the fight. Look at round 7 in particular. Bradley was going toe to toe with him. Of course, Bradley is going to move every now and then. I mean, the man Bradley, he got 12 knockouts. Manny Pacquiao is knocking out everybody. And at the same time, he's not willing to take this test. He talking all this religious talk, but you over here so religious. Why don't you do the right thing and volunteer to take the test? He could have took the test for the Bradley fight. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have to wait for Mayweather. He He didn't have to wait for Mayweather. And speaking of that, if I was Bradley, I think Bradley would be a damn fool if he doesn't demand that Manny Pacquiao take the test in the rematch. This man, Manny Pacquiao, has tremendous power. And it could be natural. It could be natural. But all I want is the proof. You know what I'm saying? Just show me. Just take the test so we don't have to wonder anymore how a dude can go up from 105 all the way to junior middleweight and can knock out welterweights, super welterweights, ending people's career like Margarito, you know what I'm saying? And you're a former flyweight. People always make this comparison saying, oh, well, Mayweather, he moved up from 106 as an amateur. Yeah, but Mayweather is not knocking people out with one punch as a welterweight. And no one is, So, I know I'm kind of jumping into a whole nother conversation, but if Bradley fights in a rematch, I think he would be a damn fool if he doesn't demand that Pacquiao takes this damn test. Matter of fact, I was reading an article earlier where VADA, they actually offered Pacquiao and Bradley to do testing. And guess who turned it down? Top Rank. Bob Arum and Manny Pacquiao, they turned it down. They didn't want to do it. So that's pretty much all I gotta say. I know I'm gonna get the haters is gonna get on here, and talk all kind of stuff. But just remember, guys, you can't have it both ways. Because if you sitting over here saying that that Pacquiao definitely won this fight, then you got to turn back around and say Marquez won that other fight. You know what I'm saying? You guys can't have it both ways. It's all hypocrisy. So that's pretty much all I got to say. And I'm gonna say one more thing about the judges. Now let's just keep this in mind. The judges that were in this fight, Dwayne Ward, C.J. Ross, and Jerry Roth, these are highly rated judges. You know what I'm saying? They have not been involved in really any controversy in their whole careers. In fact, Harold Letterman, who obviously scored the fight, almost a shutout for Manny Pacquiao before the fight, he recommended these three judges as like the best in the game, So I'm gonna go ahead and end this video right now. Go ahead and give me your thoughts. Send me your comments, and just keep in mind, if you come to my video acting stupid, I'm just gonna block your ass, and ain't nobody gonna see your comments. All right. So if you guys want to disagree with me, that's fine, but just keep it professional, and let's go ahead and just respect each other like we respect the sport. All right. Talk to y'all later. Peace.